Okay. So we're starting from the health sector. And of course, I'm sure you're ready to receive the news. Now, the news is that the police and 37 military hospitals have denied that their facilities are under pressure as a result of the strike by the Ghana Medical Association. Now, we're told that staff at these facilities who are on leave or have retired have been recalled to contain the growing number of patients who call daily to access healthcare. Let's go there.
Patients were being attended to at a regular pace at the outpatients department of the police hospital on Thursday. The maternity block had its usual crowd as mothers thronged in with their babies for postnatal care. Acting Public Relations Officer of the hospital, Corporal Faustina Nunekbeku, admitted the numbers visiting the hospital had increased since the strike began. However, the rate had declined in the last 2 days. She added doctors and other medical personnel on leave had been recalled but are on standby since the workload at the moment is not overwhelming. The police hospital had earlier this week outlined some interim measures to manage the increasing patient rate, among which was the mounting of tents to be used as temporary wards. 3 tents had currently been mounted and equipped but are not in use. At the 37 military hospital, all medical staff were at post, including those on leave.
There is no pressure. There is no pressure whatsoever. The numbers are not overwhelming. Even the June 3rd disaster, we were able to manage it successfully. So in a similar vein, we are able to manage the patients that are flocking in. We have a few doctors on leave, and then some who were on passes. They've all been recalled to beef up the staff that is already on ground.
Management of both hospitals assured clients measures had been put in place.
We're sorry for the wrong caption there. We're still talking about the strike with the health sector. But let me speak to Dr. Ebenezer Apiadetra. He is a Director General of the Ghana Health Service. He just joined me on phone. Dr. Apiadetra, we're grateful that you stayed to be part of the show tonight. Now, we are in a difficult times as far as healthcare is concerned. Let's start from here. How is the service dealing or strategizing to deal with this?
Thank you very much. We've actually not had it easy at all. We've found that many patients have actually not been attending the hospital, knowing that the doctors are on strike. So I think they've turned to other hospitals, the private, as well as 37, then the military, police hospitals.
And so the Ghana Health Service, in handling this, what exactly is being done?
Well, for us, we've assured our staff to be on the outpost to see all the patients that come there. However, the patients have taken cue from the fact that the doctors are on strike, so they've actually moved to other hospitals. But then we've also tried to link up with the private sector to position themselves to handle the cases that will come to them. We also talk to some people who are on pension to be able to come to support.
Are you suggesting, therefore, that the public health facilities are totally shut down now because of the strike?
No, not at all. It's only the patients load that reduced because of the announcement. But I know the doctors themselves, they hate turning people away, especially their own patients. So I think the load has rather gone down.
The load has gone down. Now, we're told, or the reports we're picking is indicating that the health service, Ghana Health Service, is asking doctors on leave, those on retirement to come back. How effective is that going to be?
Yes, so that's exactly what we've done. We are following the trend of activities. In the cities, because of the presence of the private facilities, the load is actually spreading along the private facilities because they see a lot more patients. Yeah, but in the district, you don't see that kind of thing.
Do you have at your fingertips, we know, for instance, that 2,800 doctors have threatened to resign and block or are leaving our emergency centers tomorrow. 2,800 of them. Do you have at your fingertips, for instance, how many doctors on leave, how many on retirement are returning to the wards perhaps tomorrow or next week?
Well, actually, I don't expect them to resign because we are still talking to them that once negotiations are ongoing and there is hope of being heard, well, that's the essence of negotiation. It may be frustrating, but then in the long run, it pays off. So we are hoping that they will not, they'll call off the strike because for emergency situations to be very difficult because there are many places where, there's no other place to turn to.
Assuming, we're not hoping that they resign, but assuming these 2,800 doctors should stick to the threat to resign en bloc. Now, the health service has invited retired doctors, those on leave. I'm asking, or I asked earlier, do you have at your fingertips how many of them are likely to return to the wards?
No, I don't have. Most of the arrangements are actually being at the region and the district level. You know, the retired people are not at one place. They are scattered, and most of them actually also work in the private sector. So what we do is that we made them link up with the private sector. And that's why we tell the private sector to position themselves in such a way that they'll be receiving many more clients. At the health center level, the medical assistants are there. And then they refer cases to the hospitals where the doctors are expected to be.
Okay, so Dr. Apiadentra, you've been in the system for quite some time, but you can confirm that these doctors on retirement and those on leave won't certainly add up to the number 2,800.
Oh, not at all.
Okay, now let's check this. Physician assistants were told play a key role, very key role in administering healthcare. Now, in this whole scenario, where are they placed as far as getting retired doctors and those on leave to come back? Where are the physician assistants?
The physician assistants are working both in the hospitals and the health centers. Yeah, so at the health center level, they work all right, and they are supervised by doctors either by teleconsultation from the district level. And then quite a number of them are also at the hospital level. They are also working there. Yeah, but we expect that the doctors will also be seeing their patients. You know, some clients are actually attached to their doctors.
Right.
And so they either see them, not necessarily at the OPD, but other facilities or maybe elsewhere.
From where you sit, do you see this impasse getting resolved? And when do you hope to see an end to this?
We are very hopeful that the doctors will come back. First of all, I believe that negotiations, once it's going on, there will be results. Because negotiations actually have not collapsed. And that's why we are feeling that once the negotiations are ongoing, it means that the concerns will be listened to. Because both sides, the government is listening. That's why the negotiations are going on. And so it will be very prudent to just call it off and then continue the negotiations.
Sure, you receive reports on daily basis. As far as accessing healthcare is concerned across the country, what has been the adverse report that you have received? Perhaps some deaths being recorded because there are no doctors. Have you received such reports?
No, we haven't. There are many private facilities around. As much as that, getting to the lower levels, they actually do not abandon their posts because they are with the people. Yes. And then with the widespread, the private sector, especially in the urban areas, they're able to contain the situation. But then when the emergency situation comes in, that is where we'll have a problem.
And they're starting tomorrow. They said they are going out of the wards, emergency wards tomorrow.
That's why we are seriously appealing to the doctors not to move in that direction.
It's 10 p.m. They are saying that by 6 a.m. tomorrow, they are pulling out of the emergency wards. So you still have hope they will rescind their decision?
I believe so, because it's a collective effort of everybody. We have traditional leaders, religious leaders. We just appeal to them. And at the same time, we also appeal to government that the negotiations should try and then conclude on something so that we'll have the normalcy restored.
Are you comfortable with some of the comments you hear in the media about handling this particular case? Are you comfortable as the head of Ghana Health Service?
No, I'm not. You see, this is a negotiation, and then people have been told to bring a proposal. And that proposal, it's like bargaining. I mean, so you discuss what they brought. So that it doesn't call for words like outrageous demands and so forth. I don't think it comes in. If you went to the market and then somebody said that this check is costing this, you also offer your price. But in doing the negotiation, you arrive at some acceptable to everybody. And I believe that once we started this journey, there will be a lot of countries coming to Ghana after we concluded to see how we went about it. They've done that when we did the insurance, the single spine, even the democratic dispensation that we have. Many people have come to see what Ghana is doing and then follow suit. So it's just a process which is ongoing. So we shouldn't be too worried about proposals. It's our only proposal. I'm also there. It's not an immediate demand. It's something that they're demanding that is for the future, because the president has come to say that this present budget this year cannot contain demands like that.
And so based on that, I'm sure in your heart and wherever you meet these doctors, you're appealing to them that the president has said that in 2015, I cannot meet these demands, but perhaps in the future, it can work, and so go back to the wards.
Precisely so. And actually, they understand it that way. That for this year, no. It's a document that is being prepared for the future. So we will continue pressing on that there wouldn't be any need then to pull out of from the services while the negotiations going on. So I will appeal to the public that we should just encourage the parties concerned and not condemn entirely.
I'm grateful. Dr. Ebenezer Appiah-Dentra, he spoke to me. He is the Director General of the Ghana Health Service. And I'm now giving you the chance to also talk back to me, because what information we have is that the doctors have accepted that their demands cannot be met in 2015. President Mahama says he's unable to authorize payment in this particular fiscal year. Doctors agree it is so. Ghana Health Service appealing to the doctors to go back to wards and then get back to the negotiating table. And of course, private hospitals now the main points where patients are not visiting. Time now to hear from you.